Hello, New Haven, and welcome back to Arts Respond on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven. I'm your host, Lucy Gellman, and it is a beautiful, bright, sunny, cold Friday, and I am here talking to Daniel Hunt, Community Liaison at CONNCORP, about the second annual Christmas toy giveaway, which is being presented next Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, from 6 to 8 p.m. At the New Hallville Police Substation that's located at 596 Winchester Ave, right along the trusty 237 line, I think, maybe. Or two, yeah, I'm going to double check that. It's whatever the Winchester Ave line is. When they changed the number or the letters to numbers, it messed me up. But we won't talk about that today. Daniel, first of all, welcome to Arts Respond. You've been on here a bunch of times, so it's always beautiful to see your face.
Yes, thanks for having me. I truly appreciate it.
I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to talk about the holidays, and we're going to talk about this second annual Christmas toy giveaway. First of all, talk a little bit about the first one and why it was so important for CONNCORP to make sure that y'all were giving back to the community that is surrounding you. So you're sort of, CONNCORP occupies this physical space that is truly, like, literally right beyond the New Haven Hamden town line. And you do a lot of stuff to give back to the community. You do a huge, beautiful backpack giveaway, do like a game night, and like crafting thing, usually with a bouncy house and food stuff for around Halloween. You do
Yeah.
game nights throughout the year. So this is not a one-off event. You know, why is it important for you and for the CONNCORP fam to make time to give back to the community?
Yeah, so it's very important, right? So we serve the New Haven area, Dixwell, New Hallville, and then we cover Hamden because we're right in the neck of Hamden. So we cover that. And it's so important to give back. And it's also important to give back to our community, this community that where I grew up in and that we serve. I'm from New Haven, grew up in New Hallville, live in New Hallville currently. I'm in the city all the time. I worked in the school system, so it's important for me in this position as community liaison to give back and do things that I wanted to do.
And it's also like I have always had complicated feelings about the fact that Christmas has become about materialism. It maybe I shouldn't say as opposed to faith, but maybe in addition to faith. But every kid deserve, like, if this is where we're at, right? I think that kids do not feel like kids should not feel less than if they're not receiving the same gifts. And we know, I think, especially at this moment in time, like everything is more expensive. I just spent
Mhm.
$91 on groceries. They weren't fancy groceries either. For like not just for me, for a family of three, but it's not like we were getting like fancy organic peanut butter or any artisanal cheese, right?
Mhm.
So I think everyone's feeling the economic strain of this moment, and that's especially true for a lot of New Haven families. So talk about, the thought and planning that went into the first toy giveaway, and then why you knew off the bat that you really wanted to repeat it this year.
Yeah, so last year I was at home and I had a dream of doing like a Christmas toy giveaway event. And then, I was like, wonder if Concord could do something like that. So then the next day, Sergeant Laurie, who's a district manager for New Hallville and Dixwell from New Haven PD, he reached out to me. He was like, hey, Daniel, he was like, I want to know if you wanted to do a Christmas toy giveaway event. And I said to him, I laughed in a text message. I laughed and said, I wanted to do one. I said, I had a dream just last night. And then he was like, perfect. He was like, let's start planning. And so we had a few meetings, and then we just started planning. And I said to him, I said, after the first one, I said, let's make this an annual event. So, this is our second annual. And last year it was a great success. It was again from 6 to 8. And then we had 94.3. We had Southern Connecticut State University Police. And I reached out to them last year. And we had a line starting at 5:25, a long line. So, we know that this year is going to be bigger and better, and that's what we wanted to do. So I reached out to Chief Campbell and Assistant Chief Narcisse from Yale Police. Reach out to Chief Miller from Southern Police, Chief Austin from the Fire Department and 94.3, and also reach out to Jameson Davis from African American Society. And so I was like, hey, let's partner, for this event this year and make it bigger and better. We want to be a blessing to the kids in the New Haven community, especially Dixwell and New Hallville. But we wanted to open it up to everybody in New Haven to be a blessing to them for the holiday season.
And also talk to me about there's so much I could ask you. Like I love a story. And I would love to hear more about like what the holidays meant for you as a kid and what they mean to you now.
It means a lot because kids these days, parents are going through things and they don't always have the funds or the budget to get the kids stuff for Christmas. Last year I had parents after the event reach out to me and say, "Thank you so much. You don't know how much of a help it was to get the toys from the toy giveaway." And I said, "It's my pleasure." I said, "This is what we're here for, not just me as a community liaison, but this is what Concorp is, for. This is what we do to serve our community and to give back." So, it's just stuff like that.
I love that. And then talk about, specifically, I feel like you have gotten really good at partnering with different um, folks in the community around different events. And this is specifically like law enforcement. Plenty of people, myself included, maybe have feelings around law enforcement, but I will say the police substation in New Hallville, for a while, it was under the management of Monique Cologne. Shout out to
Mhm.
her. And they like, I don't know if they still do it, but for years they did a trunk or treat that families in the community really, really loved, and that was very meaningful. Um, and so for you, did you always know like this is where I want to be working with them? I also want to know more about this dream because it sounds very prophetic.
Yeah, so last year there was a person who said that they would like to see Concord doing more community events in the community. So I had said to them, I said, okay. I said we already do enough, but I said we could get out more. So I talked to the team here and I said, well, let's do this event at the substation. Let's not do it here at Concord, but let's get out more in the community so people could see more of us, right? So I said, well, let's just have it at the substation, and we did.
I love that. I love that. And so what are your like your hopes and your dreamy dreams for this, this iteration as you continue to grow, as you think about ushering it into the future? And then I also just want to talk about the fact that like it's a hard year for a lot of families. I have been hearing this in my work, and I would guess that you, because you're working directly with the community a lot of the time, have been hearing this in your work. Um, People are feeling the stress of this moment in a lot of ways, including on their pocketbooks, but also socially, mentally, and emotionally. But first of all, just your hopes, your wild hopes and dreamy dreams
Yeah,
for.
my hope is to be a blessing to families, right? And to put a smile on a kid's face. That's my hope, for this event. And for other Christmas toy giveaways. I know this season is very hard. People are losing family members around this time, and people are just struggling financially. So we just want to lift the burden off of them and just try to help, as much as we can.
Well, so I would also love to talk about how it dovetails into CONNCORP'S work in the community, because I think that you and the CONNCORP team are thinking, and certainly Mr. Eric Clemens are thinking um, about how this moment is really hard for a lot of folks and
Mhm.
has been hard
Mhm.
for a while, for a long time.
So this is a part of our mission also as outreach, right? So we were outreaching in the community. So it's just trying to help people as much as we can in the underserved communities.
I also like, are you hearing from a lot of people? I just wanted to talk about this more. Like, I feel like everyone's feeling this squeeze right now. And people are talking about like people like national political reporters are talking about it. Just the price of everything seems to me as like as a parent, as someone who buys groceries and pays my bills, just like crazy right now.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'm sorry, what's the question one more time?
Oh, do you feel like you're hearing that from more folks in the community this year specifically?
Yes, I'm hearing that a lot. Everywhere I go, I'm hearing it.
And do you like, are you also feel, I think everyone I've talked to is feeling it.
Yeah, it's in everybody.
I'm also like, what are your wild hopes for this holiday season? I was talking to someone who was like so merry and bright, and I was down with her energy. I loved it. But I'm like, I'm not there yet, right? So how, like, are you feeling merry and bright?
I'm excited for this
Okay.
holiday season. That's all I've been talking about with my coworkers, my girlfriend. I'm just very excited for this holiday season.
Wait, okay, tell me more. How do you get into it? I want to know the Daniel Hunt way of getting into the holiday season.
Um, just putting the Christmas tree up or trying to do something festive or, do something different.
And also like tell me a little bit more about like I want to go back in the time machine to little Daniel.
Hmm.
Share with me some memories of Christmases that were really special for you.
Yeah, so my late grandmother used to get us stuff for Christmas, even though she didn't celebrate it, but she always got us, myself, my brother, and my sister some for Christmas. My mom will always get us stuff, but like I said, even though my grandmother didn't celebrate it, she will always like put the effort, to do stuff for us, either have a breakfast or a dinner or, do something together as a whole family.
And
So
do
we
you,
was
I mean,
always looking forward to that.
I also think like this is this beautiful tradition that you're creating. I mean, within your workplace, but I know that sometimes when we care about our work, it can bleed over a little bit into our personal lives too.
Mhm.
What are some of the traditions you're creating, as you also step into adulthood and start thinking about this holiday on your own terms? Because I feel like there's a moment, right, where we transition from like we're celebrating the holidays in our parents' house and hopefully people are blessed enough to keep celebrating with their parents and their grandparents because those folks are still alive and with them. Um, but then you start thinking about how do I create my own traditions? How do I make this holiday my own?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, um, I'm just trying to now that I'm on my own now and have my own apartment, I'm trying to learn how to create my own traditions. I'm so used to being with family and having our own tradition. I'm trying to, create my own now. Yeah.
And you're either back in New Haven or
Yes, I'm in
for
New
a
Haven
while
now.
you were in Hamden. You were on the
Yep.
youth commission in Hamden.
Hmm.
And I think they were probably very, very lucky that you were. And then at some point we were talking and you were like, well, I had to drop out of the youth commission, but it's because I moved back to New Haven.
Yep. Hmm.
So how's that going?
It's good. I was actually offered something for one of the commissions in New Haven, but because of my
Congratulations.
scheduling and my busy life, I had to decline that offer. But it's still good. I still stay in contact with a lot of youth that's in Hampton to the, so till still till this day. I have some of their numbers, so I check up on them if they need anything. I'm always there for them. And I'm at Hampton Youth Services just about every week. Either myself or Elaine, we go. Um, one of my mentees, he's a Hampton Youth Ambassador, so I check on him often. I'm near just about every week to see how he's doing, if he needs any support, any guidance. So, like I said, I'm still in contact with these kids all the time. And they know they could call me 10, 11, 12. If they need anything to talk or anything, I'm here.
So I know I asked this before and then I feel like we got off topic because I was like, how do you get married? I'm not there yet. I'm just not married yet. I'm trying. We know that Concorp has a mission of also lifting folks up.
Mhm.
And so I would love to hear, from you how this specific event and how the other giveaway events, especially the huge, beautiful backpack giveaway that Concorp does sort of right on the cusp of the school year, how they tie in with the mission of the organization?
Yeah, so like I said before, it's about being a blessing, right, to families. And that's one thing I've been saying since last year. And I've told Elaine this and some of our other staff members. I said it's all about being a blessing to families. You never know what people are going through, and that's what it's about. So I want to help people as much as I can, just for the holiday season. If it's like like you said, going back to school and giving a kid a backpack or giving a kid a toy or doing something for Halloween for them, that's what it's about.
I think that's true. So I know this is a short, like quick interview, and I want to remind folks, if you're just joining us, go back and listen, please. You're joining us on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. This is Arts Respond. I'm your host, Lucy Gellman, and I am here today with CONNCORP Community Liaison Daniel Hunt. And we are specifically talking about CONNCORP's second annual Christmas toy giveaway. It is on Wednesday, December 17th. So if you're listening to this on Friday, December 12th, you have some days to get yourself in order or let families in your life know. CONNCORP, in partnership with the New Haven PD and a couple other organizations, are going to host the second annual Christmas toy giveaway event held at the New Hallville Police Substation. If you don't know where that's at, it's 596 Winchester Ave in New Haven. And this specific event is for New Haven residents, and the child needs to be present to receive a gift. I'm reading from a press release. This is not just me. Um, uh, Daniel, I also want to know, like, before you hop off, how do you fill your cup while you are doing a lot of work for and in the community, with and in the community, I should say?
That's a tough question. So, um, I always wanted to do something like this growing up. I always wanted to be a part of my community to make it better, um, and make a difference in people's lives. I lost family members to gun violence. Um, so ever since then, I said, you know what? Let me do something to make a difference out here. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I feel like, this is what God has called me to do, you know.
Do, do you have a practice, whether it's spiritual or mental, either like, some folks really feel like they're able to fill their cup by going to church.
Hmm.
Some folks just set aside, like, when I was growing up, my dad would set aside like 10 minutes in the mornings to meditate, even if it meant getting up at like 4 a.m. before anyone else in the house was up. Some folks start or end their day with prayer or both. For you, do you have a ritual practice that helps you sort of ground yourself?
Yeah, so I read a scripture just about every morning, and or I either get on a morning glory prayer line at my church, and that starts at 7 o'clock every morning. So I'm either on a prayer line or I'm reading my morning scripture, and that's what helps me set the tone for the day. And then I usually pray at night before I go to sleep.
And then just, last question, as you're going into this, what do you really hope folks know? What, like, whether or not um this specific annual toy giveaway is something that they want or need for themselves. I feel like we all know someone, and often many people who are just feeling like the economic strain of the moment that we're in and who are in need. So what do you hope that folks know this season, and of course, like, about the giveaway, but also beyond that?
Yeah, that Concorp is there for our community. Mhm. And we're here to support them and help them as much as we can.
I love that. That's beautiful. Daniel, I want to thank you for joining me. I know it's been like a quick, fast-paced interview. Thank you. I feel I came in from the cold to do this, and now I feel warm and cozy from the inside out and a little bit merrier. So thank you.
Thank you for having
I
me.
I appreciate you. And just so folks know, I'm going to say it one more time, just in case people haven't heard it, is the CONNCORP'S second annual Christmas toy giveaway in partnership with the New Haven PD and some other folks. It is happening on Wednesday, December 17th. 2025. I can't believe we're in December, but that is my problem. That's not anyone else's problem. From 6 to 8 p.m. at the police substation in New Hallville in New Haven. That's at 596 Winchester Ave in New Haven. Daniel, I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. And if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to reach out to me at 203-777-6014, extension 114, or Sergeant Lowry at 203-584-3012.
Thank you so much. And then I guess the last actual question I had is, if someone's listening to this and they're like, I happen to have 5 perfect Christmas gifts for children between the ages of 3 and 8 in my living room. Is there still time for them to drop those off?
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. So they could either drop the toys off at CONNCORP, or they could drop them off at Yale Police headquarters. And Yale Police have a donation box over there as well with our flyer on it. So
Beautiful. And that's at the Rose Center?
yes,
Okay, beautiful.
and the boxes were decorated by CONNCORP staff. So
I love that little art activity. Art is healing. So
and we
I love
even
that.
went shopping yesterday to buy the toys for the toy giveaway. So
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah.
Well, may your holiday season be merry and bright, with lots of things that feed your soul. And I hope that for everyone who's out there listening. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. I
And have a
appreciate it.
beautiful weekend.
You
Bye,
too.
y'all. And thank you, Harry.